Hello, Star Wars fans. My name is Jeremy, and welcome back to Star Wars Legends and Canon. The official um, channel name has been decided. And today I'm going to be doing kind of a discussion video and kind of breaching the question, has Disney ruined Star Wars? After the release of a couple of movies, these are the three newest movies that I actually have that Star Wars technically made. We have The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rogue One, a Star Wars story. They also did Solo, also called Solo, a Star Wars story, but that has not been released on Blu-ray as of yet. That comes out, I think, the 25th of September, so I will, as soon as I get that, I have every intention of reviewing the newer movies. I'm probably going to do one video where I will, in one video, I'll review all three prequel movies, and the same thing with the original trilogy, just to kind of share you, my thoughts on them. I mean, I've seen them, millions of times, especially the original trilogy, so it's probably not going to be more of a review, it's going to be more of a what was my general reaction when I was first seeing them, because I was 9 years old and I thought they were fucking awesome, and things like that. But these are the three newest Disney Star Wars films they've made. Solo would also go, so there's four movies. And the movie we are getting in 2019 will be Star Wars Episode 9, which will be the last movie of part of this trilogy. So, but mainly the reason I'm wanting to discuss this is because more on this movie. A lot of people had so many issues and problems with The Last Jedi. Personally, I actually thought this was a huge improvement over The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, I did not like. I liked some of the new characters we got. I thought Rey was a really cool character. I liked Finn and Poe. I loved being able to see Chewie and Han and Leia again. That was really, really fun. But, I'm probably going to say what everyone else has already said about The Force Awakens, but I felt like The Force Awakens was a carbon copy of A New Hope. In a nutshell, everything that happens in A New Hope happens in The Force Awakens. I kid you not. I'm planning on making a whole video on this. If I wanted a carbon copy of A New Hope, I would not watch The Force Awakens and just rewatch A New Hope. It's really that simple. But there's a lot of things that happen, a lot of things that, I feel like Disney is pushing on Star Wars, things that just, I think it's funny, as much as people trashed the prequels so hardly, I've never seen so many people trash one film more than they have attacked this movie. And a lot of it is deserved. I actually kind of understand why people say that. One of the biggest things is the Leia basically using the Force and basically flying through space after her ship was destroyed. And for one, to me, as a scene to watch, it's an awesome scene to watch. Realistically speaking, I find it to be a little bit unrealistic. I mean, I know this is Star Wars and everything, and you have no idea what can happen. But I've also heard how Solo completely bombed. It didn't bomb necessarily. It got, and I think it was $394 million, which is great. It's great for any other movie. You have to understand, all three of these movies, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rogue One, all grossed well over $1 billion. And the fact that Solo didn't even rake in $400 million. That's really bad. That, for a Star Wars movie, that's the epitome of bombing, basically. So I think what I want to question here is Disney capable of making a good movie? Because even though I enjoyed The Last Jedi for what it was, I thought it was an improvement over some things. There's some things I just can't get past. This will have spoilers for The Last Jedi, so sorry. But I think out of these three newest movies, the ones I absolutely loved was Rogue One. And I think some people will actually kind of agree to that. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie. I mean, the beginning was a bit slow for probably about, I'd say 30 minutes. It took about 30 minutes in the movie for me to really, get into it. But when I first watched it for the first time, the first half of the movie was pretty boring, and then the second half was awesome. I really loved the end. I loved the ending with Vader, what the fuck? With Vader, and how aggressively brutal he was, killing all those soldiers. That was awesome. Oh, that was funny. But to me, out of the three, Rogue One is definitely the best. I have not seen Solo, so I'm not going to judge that one until I've actually had the chance to see it. But The Force Awakens, for me, I think possibly I had way too many expectations for it, because I was 9 years old when I watched the original trilogy, and so I think ever since I watched the end, like, in my head, I was thinking, oh, well, is Luke gonna train Leia to be a Jedi? Are they gonna rebuild the Republic? Is he gonna start a new Jedi Order? Rebuild the Jedi again, just like it was in the original Republic. And none of that shit happens. He does start to train people to become Jedi, but it never really takes on anything. I mean, you have one person that's supposed to recreate a entire, no, I wouldn't say race of people, but it's really along those same lines. And Leia is force sensitive, which means I think that if she wanted to be trained as a Jedi, she could have been. I guess she just didn't want to. I don't really know. And I think that was more of they talked to Carrie Fisher, and that was something they thought that that's just not what Leia would do. So I guess it makes sense. But one of my things is I feel like maybe they're also doing things in these Star Wars movies. They're doing this for fan service. I think that's also a possibility. I think they want more female characters. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I love Jen from Rogue One. She was only in one movie, and I loved her character. And I'm very excited to read some of the. So I want to read the Rogue One novelization. I want to read Rebel Rising, which is a book that follows her from childhood to adulthood, and it just sounds like it's going to be such a great story. I'm excited to read that one. I'm kind of impartial when it comes to Rey. The thing is about her is I feel like every Jedi has had first there was Anakin, who trained from when he was a small boy until he was probably a young adult in the ways of the Force and becoming a Jedi. And then there's Luke, who was probably only got maybe a couple of days of training, possibly maybe a month or more of training. And then there's my biggest issue of the entire new trilogy is how Rey basically knows how to use a lightsaber in all the different forms without even having any training. My issues, the same thing on this, is Zahir from the Legend of Korra TV series, where he knows how to airbend just because he studied some airbender guy. No, honey, that's not how it works. You don't airbend by reading some dude's pieces of paper, or you learn from actually watching and actually training yourself, you know, whatever, my brain's not working. But it's an interesting discussion. You know, I wonder if Star Wars is getting to the point where it's just not gonna be fun anymore. I mean, there are so many people that literally have said Disney has ruined Star Wars. It's just ruined. And I think they did a great job with Rogue One. I think we actually find out who was the um, architect designer of the Death Star. That was fascinating to learn about, and the fact that he actually put a weakness inside of it because he knew how wrong that was. You know, he did that hoping that, giving the rebellion, at least plans to destroy it. And they did. And it's just so awesome. It's such a great film. I think out of all the new ones, I think it was the best one. And it's not my favorite. Everyone always has a favorite Star Wars movie. My favorite Star Wars movie is probably always going to be Return of the Jedi. It has always been my favorite Star Wars movie, probably always will be. One of my biggest complaints about The Last Jedi, and the fact that I feel like this is another thing that Disney really shouldn't have done, is the fact that we have Luke in this movie. But to me, he's not my Luke Skywalker. And Mark Hamill had said he's not my Luke Skywalker at all. He did not like the story of Luke. When he read the script, Mark Hamill almost immediately dismissed the script when he first read it, because Luke comes across as very cold and kind of cruel at times in this film, and that's not Luke. Luke would never do that. You know, the fact, once again, massive spoilers at this point. Luke would, we see a backlash. Ben is Luke and Leia's son. He's also known as Kylo Ren, and Luke senses the dark side in Ben, and he tries to kill him. For one, Luke would never fucking do that shit. He would continue training him despite what he felt. Because in case of looking at his own father, I mean, Obi-Wan did his best to train Anakin the best way, and he ended up turning to the dark side anyway, no matter how hard he tried. Then again, that wasn't completely on Anakin. Actually, it was more on Palpatine and the massive manipulation and kind of brainwashing that he did to Anakin that drove him to the dark side. Making him believe that the dark side and Palpatine has some kind of secret to saving Padme's life, which he fucking lied to get him on his side. So I just feel like Luke doing that was just not Luke, and it kind of makes me mad that these movies are canon, because you know what? I think as Star Wars fans, we can say this isn't fucking canon. I haven't read these novels, but I think the Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn would have made a much better sequel trilogy to Return of the Jedi. It's still early, so my brain doesn't want to work. But, these are just some of my issues, my problems with it. I'm going to... Once again, this is not really me addressing all the things that Disney has done in these films, and that is my phone. But just give me a second, guys. Hello? Okay, if you would give me just one moment, please. Thank you. My phone always has to interrupt me when I'm talking. Well, guys, just let me know what you think on this topic down in the description box, the comment section, and I want to answer your question: has Disney truly ruined Star Wars? I'll let you guys decide that. See you later.